Yo yo yo, and we're gonna do a shorter stream today as well, so let's just jump into it. We're in the process right at the very beginning of getting water terraforming to work. I don't think we have written one line of code related to it just yet. There's a lot of things that need to be in place before we start with that, and one of those being an easy way to visually debug, basically. So we want to run around here in the world, add water influxes, and we want to see exactly what happens in the texture. So a little bit of a debug mode, and currently we have, if we click Shift 2, we go into debug mode here. Right now there's not that much changing, we just get a little bit of a different color here. But behind the scenes, we actually change from a material that supports grass without the wind texture right now after we have entered debug mode though, to a texture that doesn't. The idea here is that we should be able to go Shift 3 as well to see, we can see here in the console, set debug mode height. So the idea is that we should be able to see the height map of one of these patches. And if we check the debug material, we currently have terrain data debug mode here, and it's actually set at height, but we don't. Visually, it doesn't render height. It's a little bit weird. So if we take a look, if we jump to grid and then we do height, then we actually get the height map. Even though we use, I think we use bilinear filtering for this. We want to avoid that as well. But yes, we would probably like to see the full terrain turn into something like this. And we can also do grass. Then we get the grass. Did we have... Okay, we have grass here. So let's see. What was it? This one. So if we take a look and we change this one to grass, we actually get the grass texture. So if we do shift 3, we should be getting the height, but we're not. So that's what we're gonna start with today. Figure out why the hell we don't. Like this one actually changes, and that's what boggles my mind. So let's take a look at the flow of this. We have debug input handler, debug mode 3 action, and then we have terrain base, which listens to this one and set debug mode, debug terrain mode height. So set debug mode, and we also get this print actually. I think we can see here set debug mode height. So this one should be height. We set material to null. Case if it's none, we just set it to terrain material. Otherwise, we set debug material to material here, and then in material we do set integer, debug terrain mode, get shader property name, and debug terrain mode as an integer. And all of this happens so what is the problem? And we know that it works if we set it manually. This is very weird. Zero, 1, 2. Height. I wonder if there's some problem with this reference here. Do set material. Very interesting. If we just jump to this one like this, and then we change something else here, and we don't get it. Do we need to do... Good morning, Harukanan. I'm wondering if... I want to try and change this one to set float. Although... it's very weird. Yeah, let's take a look at how to properly do this. So, terrain debug shader, it's a shader feature. Set from script. Yo, what's up, Derek? How's the water coming along? Still in the early stages. In the very, very early stages. We're actually implementing like a quick debug, visual debugging right now. So we're pretty much just preparing for writing the first lines of code concerning the water terraforming. Let's see. Do we need to do... do we need to do enable keyword? Yeah, this is not how I've previously worked with similar stuff, but maybe. It's more about toggling. Let's do shader feature HLSL Unity. Because basically what we're doing, what we specify here is, if I have understood this correctly, we pretty much define 6 different shaders, and then we want to change those in real time. Never really thought about why one would have more than one material on a mesh, but I guess it would have its use cases. Yeah, it's my understanding that you want to avoid it as much as possible. But sometimes in very special cases it's useful. The Hound Solar, thank you for the follow, by the way, I appreciate it. Do I want to go with multi-compile instead? If defined, a shader feature creates a variant for one feature on is enabled, another for one is disabled. Create 5 shader variants, red, green, blue, white. This is pretty much what we have. And this is exactly what we want. Like I think when we change it manually here on the material, one additional step is made, which we don't if we do it through script. Freedom DAO, great work, appreciate it. We're just gonna have to figure out exactly what it is. Material Unity. Let's take a look at what we have here. Enable keywords, probably. But I would like something like enable all keywords. Let's see. Enable keyword. Yeah, so just to mention, this is what I think. I think when we change it manually on the material, I think something like this is called. But I'm not sure. Is keyword enabled? It's... What keyword is our default here? Let's try toggle the state, set keyword. Is that also let's take a look here. If we take a look at, is it Terraform brush? Terraform shader, we actually have enum Unity Engine rendering color right mask. Enum. Can I do keyword enum? Can we just do and then we do game dot debug mode, environment, or is it actually? Yeah, I want to try this, but first of all I want to try okay, that doesn't work. Let's try and do that might be it. Let's see. Little bit a pretty frustrating problem to have. Okay, so let me try and parse this. The correct keyword enum gets set. So we send in the correct integer here, but unless we recompile it, we don't get another shader variant. So yeah, let's take a look at set keyword. I don't care about enable keyword. The local keyword to enable. So can we do terrain base? Let's just do it here. If debug material, we do material dot enable keyword, and the keyword in question should be this one, I think. Or actually, yeah. I'm a little bit perplexed that this mode works out of the box though, like, and this one doesn't still. But once again, if we jump to height and we just do a recompile of this one, then it works. None and grid works. Yo, what's up, Little Miss Murder? I hear you. None and grid works. The other ones doesn't. Is it because of this one? If I would do elif height, and then we just take I see you haven't implemented the broken ankles mechanic. Not yet, not yet. What the hell is going on here? Like, this is... Ooh, it's weird. Definitely. Yo, what's up, Fabic? Not much, to be honest. I'm still working on this debug terrain shader here. Can't really get the shader variants to work though. Shader feature. I'm pretty sure. Thank you, Little Miss Murder. Appreciate it. Makes this... you just made this like trying to shader enable keywords struggles a little bit better. Thank you once again. Oh, and you actually did it like... Dude, 6 months. Thank you, I appreciate it. So... yeah, you can relate. It's relatable. Thank you. So shader keywords. It turns out I don't really understand them, or I don't understand them good enough to play around with them in real time during runtime and changing them. And it's really frustrating. So my understanding here, let's see, we do shader features. We define 6 different shader features, so we pretty much compile this shader down into 6 different shaders, and then we should be able to switch between them by defining these shader keywords, but we can't. And I wonder why the fuck not. And once again, switching between... that is true. This is one material, this is another material, this is a default look. Okay, so shader keywords doesn't work between those two. Okay, so that's good. But what really disturbs me is, now we set this to grid, and we can see here that the shader feature is set at grid. And then if we do Shift 3, set debug mode height, we select this one, we check the material, this one is set at height, but it doesn't render as if height was set. If we do this in the editor though, we change to grid and then we change to height. There we go, that works. So I'm missing something. They don't work like traditional compiler directives. I think they do. Like, we tell the compiler that compile one version with this, so that's this one. Compile one version with this, so it's this code, and on and on. I think we actually do it. Like, it's just that when we change it in the editor, we can change between the different compiler variants here. So let's take a look. Draw some grass there. Where are we? Here. And then we change this one. Or actually we jump to this one. Render it with grass debug, and we get the correct result. So we have the various shaders, it's just not enough to change it like this during runtime, for some reason. Yeah, we can switch them on the fly in the editor, but when we try to do it through script, it doesn't really work. So what does the editor do that we do not? I thought it was enable keyword first. I want to check debug terrain mode. Let's try enable keyword. Oops. Terrain data debug mode. And we do... Let's just set okay, what happens if we do call it like this? Yeah, it doesn't work. Perhaps runtime only gives you one baked shader, whereas the editor has some special cache. Yeah, probably. I think we should be able to do this. We just have to figure out what we're missing. It could be how... Let's take... We have something similar that works. If we take a look at Terraform shader, here we have enum, Unity Engine rendering color right mask, brush color. This one we can actually set through script, and this one gets changed accordingly. This one as well. Actually, one sec. Terrain debug shader, shader fragment, shader feature. We might want to specify what happens if we do a multi-compile instead. Oh, same problem. But as soon as we recompile the shader, it now gets compiled. Change shader feature during runtime Unity. Works. Oh, okay. Shader feature texture on. Okay. You want Pragma multi-compile. Disable at runtime. If shader feature, the build will straight banish. There we go. There we go. So Pragma multi-compile. Okay, so that's one thing I had. Okay, still not working. We'll see. The amount of help Bgolus answers has, like, the amount he has helped me during the years, it's insane. Indeed, Little Miss Murder. Indeed. What worries me about this one is, do we need... let's see. So shader feature yes, okay, this, changing the material properties at runtime won't do anything as they're just dummy properties the material inspector is using to let it show the options. When you toggle the settings, it's called mat enable keyword, mat disable keyword behind the scenes, which is what you need to do as well. Okay, so this is what the editor is doing behind the scenes. You can literally copy paste that entire post into your code as a comment. Yeah, like Bgolus is insane. The knowledge he holds is, yeah, it's insane. So when we toggle it in the editor, mat enable keyword and mat disable keywords is called behind the scenes. So I guess we want to do that as well, and we do something similar to that. Mat enable keyword, mat disable keyword. What bothers me now, however, is I do wonder, however, let's just try this. So if we think about shader feature, this one, so that's pretty good. Like shader feature will, like if you have a shader with multiple shader, like I guess Unity's default lit material uses a lot of shader features, so depending on then which materials that are in the build, a lot of the shader variants doesn't get included. So a very good way to like save memory in the end if you know you're not going to use all shader features depending on platform. What's up, Tutu Apps? How are you doing today? So now the question is enable keyword. The next question is, how do we want to use this one? Like, how are we supposed to use this one? That's what I'm wondering. Are we supposed to use it like this, or are we supposed to use the full keyword name, or are we just... Okay, so this is not what we're gonna do. So let's take a look at enable keyword. Okay. So if we do would love a shader variant here as well, or like a shader example. How do you like Unity, Tutu Apps? Do I need to do this? Maybe. Yeah, so let's try and just do shader. Let's see here. Local keyword. Local keyword is equal to new local keyword. We want to send in the shader, so we're going to do debug material dot shader, and then we want the shader name. Right now we're going to use the full name, so we're going to do this one. So we do height here, so we do it like this, and then we also need to do enable debug material enable keyword, and we do this one. Although I wonder, can we enable multiple keywords here? Let's try this one, see what kind of output we get. No change. This one should give us all the answers we need, right? exists only in C# code. Okay, so it's local shader keywords we're working with, I think. Yeah, I don't care about those. Yeah, let's write some information here. So this should give us the local keyword, although I am a little bit skeptical about this one. So if we do local keyword is overridable, local keyword dot is writable. Any other information we can write? Local keyword unity is dynamic, is valid. Okay, so this will be, if this is not the correct way to access it, I guess this one will return false. So I hope this one will return false. Let's see. So it's pretty much just about the understanding was pretty much correct. It's just a question of how we switch between shader variants during runtime. So if we do Shift 2 now, we actually get local keyword is valid, local keyword is overridable, true. And then we enable keyword. I'm a little bit worried. I wonder if we want to do let's try this. Local keyword 2. Let's rename this one local keyword height. And local keyword grid. So if we do debug material dot disable keyword local keyword grid, so now we explicitly disable the grid keyword and we enable the height keyword, which I hope means false. We explicitly set this one to false and this one to true. Although I wonder, will we jump in? We'll see what happens, if anything happens. Like, I made this a little bit more complicated than it could be. Like, I mean, we could just simply create multiple different debug materials and not work with shader variants. Or we will work with shader variants, but we have them defined in separate materials. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so that's what we need to do. We need to explicitly state, if we enable one of these, we need to disable the other ones. There has to be an easier way. I guess we could do... We could probably do shader unity API keyword keyword space, the local keyword space, keyword count, find keyword, I guess we could do it like this. Debug terrain mode, public static debug terrain mode, get all debug terrain modes, return new none, Lilu Dallas multi-compile. I have no idea what that means. Gradient. And then we do get shader property name and public static string get shader keyword name. Default return let's do it like this for now. And then case grid case height case gradient. You haven't seen the fifth element. That is actually one of the old time classics I've missed. I've seen a highlight or memes. I will do my best to look it up after the stream. Gotta stay active on the references, you know. But okay, so honestly, would you recommend one watching that movie in 2024? Is it worth it? Isn't it the same movie where we okay, so multi-compile is a multipass reference, right? They mentioned multipass multiple times, that I know. It aged well. Oh, nice. Yeah, I always... It's always a little bit sad every time you rewatch a movie from your youth and the specific movie hasn't aged well. Fucking pains me. So what we want to do here is for each debug terrain mode in debug terrain mode extensions dot get all terrain modes, and then we want to do a local keyword, and here we do mode dot get shader keyword name. And then we do disable that one. And then for the one that is the active one, we do enabled local keyword is equal to new. And then we do dot get shader keyword name. We remove this one, we remove this one, and then we enable this one. And I don't even know if we need to set this one when we do it like this. So let's comment it out and see what we get here. The old adage, never meet your childhood heroes, applies. I guess it does. The Highlander. Another movie I haven't seen. Watching it now is pure cringe. I can't relate. But the other way is true as well. When you rewatch an old movie and it holds up, that's a good feeling. Let's do Shift 2, Shift 3, beautiful. Shift 4, we haven't implemented that one, but Shift 3 now works. Oh, that's beautiful. Although, I would love to render this way more way more pixelated, and that's what we're gonna do. Although, yeah, I think it's just a question of when we send UV onwards specified as text chord, I'm pretty sure this one will be interpolated in the fragment shader, and that's why we get such a clean gradient. We want to fix that. I guess I'm showing my age. We all do. 2001 A Space Odyssey. Yeah, that one I actually watched that one for the first time a couple of years ago, and I still think it was amazing. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Haven't watched. English Patient. Have not watched. Alien. Watched it when I was a kid. Watched it when I was big, and it still held up. Yeah. Which movie did I watch recently? Schindler's List, I think. That one was still amazing, if I remember correctly. And I'm more into like old, like television series. I rewatch a lot of those. So how do I want to do this? I wonder if we don't want to interpolate this one between vertices. So let's see, I have to don't interpolate UV in fragment shader. Okay, this is the let's do HLSL as well. Yes. Flat. So if we do let's instead of not trying to interpolate the UVs without interpolation. I don't want to call GL commands, and we can do can we change the sampler state? Setting sampler state. Texture 2D. I don't want to change it like this because then we're gonna have a problem. Maybe I have to. I guess we could do truncate the UVs ourselves. But then we need to send in additional information. Or I think the easiest way for us would actually be to do float for color. We just read the color in vertex shader instead. Oh no, we don't want it here, we want it here. And then we just do I think input.uv. Yes, and then we need to add LOD here if we want to read it in the vertex, and we're going to do LOD level 0. So then we have terrain data here, and we can just do output.color is equal to this one. And then we change. Yeah, we could probably remove this one for now. And then we just do input.color.r. Like this. Let's see if we get a little bit more of a pixelated. No, we don't. Weird. Yeah, color is probably still interpolated. Sample texture without interpolation. Unity HLSL. I mean, should. I don't want to set the texture to the sampler state. I don't want to set filter mode. So could we do sampler state as property Unity HLSL? That's the one we're Can we define it like this ourselves? That would be very cool if we could do this. Actually, let me do this, and we jump back a couple of steps. And then we take, remove this one as well. And then we define our own sampler like this. Terrain data texture sampler. We have filter here, let's see. Use state groups, fill mode, cull mode. What do we have here? Sampler state. But can I get a list of the different types? That would be amazing. Filter. We want to do point. The question is which point? Maybe. So. Can we do? It feels like I'm a little bit on thin ice here, but if we do this, and then we also want to clamp them, so texture address mode. Clamp. I do wonder. So now the question is, can we use this one here instead? Or will we get... should contain filter and wrap modes. And texture. What if we do redefinition? Okay, so this one redefines it. Okay, let's do this. Let's define it as so if you use point and clamp in the name, I'm not really a big fan of this. Okay, let's try it. So texture 2D, terrain data texture, and then we do sampler state, terrain data texture point clamp sampler. Okay, and now we've moved away from using these macros to instead doing this. So I wonder if that would be float for terrain data is equal to terrain data dot sample ample the sampler and then UVs. So we do terrain point clamp sampler and we do terrain data UVs. Yes, that's more what I want, but I'm wondering what if we do okay, that's good. Okay, one step in the right direction. Okay, that's good. Let's real quick add some more debug inputs here. What do we have? Grass, water, gradient. And then we go to the editor and just add these. Shift 2, 3. Okay, we get gradient there as well. That's weird. Shift 3. Oh yeah, of course. I screwed up. In terrain base, we also want to change this one. 4, 5. Okay, now it should work. Now we should be able to show all channels of the underlying data struct, I think. So grid, height, grass, gradient. Let's see. Grass. Good. Okay, it's way more visible here. I think this is going to be so helpful when we start working with the fluid solver for the water. Actually, we still get grass on shift. Shift 5 should be water. Yeah, shift 5 should be water and shift 6 should be gradient. But okay. I want to get the wind texture back when we change back to this one as well. Okay. Probably, actually, let's see if we can do field, serialized field, public, input action, debug, mode, action, private set. Let's see if we can add some processing to these. So instead of having 6 of them, we just have 1, and depending on the key combination, we multiply the input with something. Let's see, input handler. Can we do one modifier? Debug mode action. So I wonder if we can do let's see, path, listen, left shift, and here we do 1, and then we take a look at so scale. And then my question is the default value of this, is it 1 when we click it? So can we scale it? So could we, for instance, add a factor of 1 here, and then we do, then we add one additional here, debug mode action 2 then, I guess. And can we rename this one? And then we do two here, and we add a post-processing scale, a factor of 2, and then I want to try this one. So we're gonna have to have, let's see here, input handler. We add private void invoke debug mode action. Then we have context float value read float, and we have a value here, and let's just do debug.log value. Let's add invoke debug mode action. And then like this. We have it defined, we enable it. Every time it's performed, we call on this method. We just read the value here and we log the value. Let's see what we get. And we have shift 1 and shift 2. Those are our bound. Shift 1 should give a value of 1, shift 2 should give a value of 2. Pretty straightforward. Invoke debug mode action 1, invoke debug mode action 2. Beautiful. Good morning, Desai. So now we can clean this up a bit. We can remove these, this one, and we're gonna do clean this one up, even though we're gonna have to redefine them. We do this, and then we have a using Unity Engine .events. So we add some abstraction here, and we do public Unity event. I want to do int debug mode event, enable actions, enable events, debug mode event or instantiate events, Unity Engine event int, and then we do, so every time we do this, instead of logging it like this, we do debug mode event dot invoke int value. So instead of having to yeah, we just add one layer of abstraction here. Instead of having to fiddle with context and stuff like that in our terrain base, we just listen to a event instead, which gives us an int. So then we can do terrain base dot something event, debug mode event plus equals to set debug mode. Unfortunately, it's going to be an int, debug mode as int. And then we do, what did I call this method? Set debug mode. How do we need to do? Add listener like this, and the first thing we do here then is debug terrain mode. We should be able to do cast it, right? Terrain mode, debug mode as int. We don't care about this one anymore. Yeah, let's try this. It's going to be a little bit cleaner here now, that's for sure. Event. Yeah, get private set. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Okay, and one last thing. Binding processor multiply or scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yeah, let's try it. Grid, height, grass. Okay, flout. Yeah, that's not what we want to do. Gradient. Debug mode. One grid. Do we want to have a shift 0 as well? We probably do. Let's take a look at this one first. I think this one is the easiest one. So this. That's not what it's called. It should be float. And second of all, we have. So right now, our inputs. So shift 1 is grid, shift 2 is height, and so on and so on. That's correct. We also want a none here. So let's add that to the input handler. And we're gonna add one more with modifier, debug mode 0. Left shift, binding. Do I want to do 0 here? It's not the quickest one. I wonder if we can do. Let's try that one, and then we add a processor scale 0. Shift 1. Okay, beautiful. Height, grass, water, gradient. If we do shift 6, we don't have anything there. Gradient, water, grass, height, grid, normal. Ah, beautiful. I think I would also like to do a few more things, but let's see here. Yeah, I think I want to fix this one first. So when we flip back to normal here, we don't set the wind texture again. So let's just fix that real quick. And that's just a terrain material here. I think we wanna do set material texture. We do it for each terrain patch, however. I think it should be enough to just do dot set texture weather. This one pretty much. Okay, yeah, because we send it in. Unfortunate. Because the actual control comes from environment controller. So when we instantiate it, we set weather reference here, and we just set. Might as well. Might as well. For now. So if we add some grass here, we have some wind. Then we switch to this, and then we switch back, we still have wind. Beautiful. Pretty nice to see the underlying data like this. Are we going a little bit too dark here? Maybe. One more thing. I wonder if we flip between, like when we're in debug mode, would it actually be nicer to have the underlying geometry just being a plane? So like if we go to this mode, this is where we have a height difference in the underlying geometry. And if we switch to this one, so the height map, then we just nullify all the heights, maybe. And do I want to make this a tiny bit more, like do I want to add grid lines between pixels here? Maybe. Like it's easy to see this when you have a big contrast between neighboring pixels in the underlying data, but if you have, it's not as visible. We have some stuttering as well, which I'm very interested in. And it is the garbage collector. I'm very interested in what it's collecting. Oh well. Okay, but the most important thing here is that we now have a mode 4, which is water. We don't have any water just yet, but this is going to help a lot, I think. Might as well add I want to add a an option to make the terrain into a plane as well. So we can jump to height and we can show it with the height difference, but we have an option to disable the height of it. Like, it should be pretty straightforward. The only problem I could imagine is if we jump from plane and back to this one, we could get a scenario where the character is located underneath the environment. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, let's see. And we're gonna do not that one, but debug input handler, debug mode action, and we're gonna add a private debug toggle I don't see why I can't be extremely specific in the naming here. So toggle the terrain mesh. Or actually, I think I want to rename these, but and I don't think we need to read this one, but we do need, let's keep them like this, and then we do private bool debug toggle terrain. like this, and I'm gonna invoke a Unity event as well. I'm gonna do it oh yeah. Something like this. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to continue the implementation of this one tomorrow. Because as I mentioned in my Discord channel, this week and next week is going to be shorter streams due to other commitments. And I gotta run. But as always, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Little Miss Murder, thank you so much for the sub. Very much appreciated. And have a great rest of the day, everybody. Peace.